Hi, I'm Gabe with Alaska Gear Company, and I'm here with...
Sean McLaughlin, CEO of Alaska Gear Company.
So we're here to talk to you about this plane today. This is our three-place Super Cub. This has been a shop plane for a long time with us. We have made the decision to sell it, and that's why we're reaching out to you. We're trying to find an interested buyer, and we want to go over some of the features and the history of the three-place project and this plane in particular. So Sean, why don't we just go step back and let's talk about the history of the three-place, where the design came from, and kind of what your history is with it.
So, okay, so if you go back far enough, you know I have lots of kids. So, you know, the tandem Cub, as I was building this company, I always thought, well, if I can get a couple more kids in this plane, it would be great. And around that same time, a New Zealand customer came to us and asked us to build what they called the Prager Cub. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He sends us these drawings and sends us this whole New Zealand approved modification for a Cub that basically in essence creates a PA-12 wider second seat. And I was totally intrigued with this. So, you know, this is back years ago now, but we basically started the process of trying to build a US certified version of a three-place Cub, or the New Zealand Prager, as they call it. Gotta love that, right?
Yeah, it's a great name.
So we started this project and we've done a lot of work on it, but ultimately we've done an amazing amount of work on it. But as we kept going along and the years kept passing by, it got to the point where it was a non-economic project. One of the problems for us as a manufacturer of fuselages for this plane is that we can come out with more options, but if the more options don't expand the market, they're just killing other fuselage sales. So your incremental value for all the R&D is hard to justify. And you're talking, you know, probably to get this thing through certification would be another $500,000 from where we are now. And
sure.
We've probably spent $500,000 on it. So, but we did build a bunch of three-place fuselages, and we did, and including this three-place experimental Cub. And we just got to the point now where we've been using this now for R&D for quite a while, and we want to get moving on the next Cub, honestly. So that's the story behind it, and I'm hoping we can find someone who really wants to take this thing out and, you know, blow the dust off it and get it going.
Yeah, it's definitely a super unique plane. Obviously 3 seats, and this isn't really, people always ask, is this a PA-12? You know, it's really not a PA-12. When you look at the rear seat dimensions, PA-12, you got to be really good friends with who you're sitting in it with. You know, this is really more Pacer, almost a Cessna 180 width. I believe it's 38 inches through the back. So
yeah, and if you want, Gabe, just to keep it all real, you can see what a body looks in it like. So that's me in the back, right, Gabe?
Yeah.
So we took a 4-inch wider fuselage, and then we splooged it out according to the designs we got from New Zealand.
Yeah, so it's basically our 4-inch wide body fuselage from the firewall forward and from the baggage area back. So it's very standard stuff. You know, if somebody needs to build one or do repairs on it, it's basically PA-12 glass and pretty standard 4-inch wide body stuff, except for just kind of in that center section where we're doing the rear seat. So that being said, you know, do you want to talk about what's next for the company?
That's a little bit of a secret.
Okay. All right.
But you guys know what we do for business, and you know how we roll. So we're going to be starting a new build that we're pretty excited about.
Yeah.
You know, one of the ways we're going to fund it is by getting this one out and getting it flying. I've been the primary flyer for this since it's been built.
Yep.
And my daughters. Matter of fact, Gabe, if you forget, it comes with a second set of seats. So this is a higher seat for smaller people, because I have a couple pilots in the family that fly it as well, but we also have both seats. We have a regular seat and a boosted up seat. But I've been the flyer, but I haven't flown a lot lately. And we're kind of through a lot of projects on it. It has most of our new certified products on it, if not all.
It does, yeah, and that's something we want to go over kind of in the walkthrough, is this has kind of been the plane that we've done all of the prototyping and a lot of the testing on of all of our products. So as you see this plane, you know, it's got the titanium gear, TiSHX. It's got basically one of everything that we've ever made, and it's not just one of everything we made, but the prototype or the one-off part, you know, custom shocks. We've only made 2 sets of shocks like this, one for this plane, and not to spill the beans too much, but one to test on PA-12s and wide body Cubs. Yep. So it's an extremely unique airplane in that sense. You said we've made a few of these fuselages. They're, you know, kind of to clarify, we started doing production, and then that quickly ended. There's only a handful of these out actually in the world.
I think like 4, Gabe, or
yep,
what do you think?
There's about 4. I know of at least one customer that has them.
I know that 2 others that are flying.
2 others
in the state.
that are flying. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we built 1, this one, and then 2 others have been built, and we've got a couple of the prototype fuselages that haven't been built yet.
Yep.
So, you know, in total numbers of flying aircraft, this is one of 5 in the world. And not only is it one of 5, this plane is basically number 1. It's the first one, and it has all of the prototype parts on it. So this is kind of the most
fully tricked
unique,
out.
Fully tricked out, absolutely. Yeah. So,
But yeah, I mean, really the story here is we're looking for someone who's really gonna, you know, the plane, you know, we're here on our campus in Palmer, but it's been sitting more time in the hangar than not lately, and we've got things we want to do next. And, you know, someone will really enjoy this plane. So
Yeah.
I think I just came to the decision that it's time to go find a new buyer for it and let them kick it around.
yeah, absolutely. It's very much a working plane. It's not a showpiece or a, you know, a hangar queen to speak of. This plane has been used on moose hunts and adventures.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So we want to find the right buyer that's going to continue that legacy of taking it out and really, you know, enjoying it, going hunting, taking your family out in it.
I've flown this on some pretty epic adventures, so, and I got 2 kids who learned how to fly in it. So.
Wow. Yeah. So let's next talk about kind of the experience of flying it. You know, you've been the primary pilot of it. You've gone out and taken it out. So, you know, what's your feel on it versus maybe a standard Super Cub?
Right. So so first of all, I am not a professional pilot. I'm not. Our customers are all better pilots than I am. I'm just going to say that for the record. Okay. So but I'll tell you what I do know as the primary pilot of it, is I think compared to a standard Cub, the big thing I notice is that this Cub tends to fly, I would call it truer. So for some reason, because of people tell me it might be the shape of the fuselage, because it kind of has an airfoil shape, because it kind of starts here, plunges out and goes back. But when you're flying, especially in kind of challenging weather, challenging winds, I think it flies kind of just straighter and truer. When I've been in a tandem Cub, it's kind of a little more jerky in that type of environment. This one seems to have more of that flow. But the big difference is when I'm on hunts and you know, I fly a lot with my friend, and we tend to be the ferry pilots a lot on these hunts, and being able to carry 2 grown-ups in the back and being able to put, you know, you have more space to put moose meat like right over your CG that's just incredible, and everybody else tends to be quite jealous of that.
Yeah, that's huge compared to a standard Cub, where if you got 3 people, you're putting somebody in the baggage area and they're sitting on a cooler and the plane's kind of tail heavy.
And now you got all your trim in and you're you know, trying to do things. This, you keep it all right, really nice and tight up front, and that's probably the biggest thing. And you can put a belly pod on this thing as well if you want. As a matter of fact, I have not flown it. I didn't fly it with a belly pod because I have so much room inside. I didn't feel like I needed it. But I was flying with other Cubs that had belly pods, and it's kind of their version of what we're able to do with this Cub.
And it is very much kind of a wide body Cub. So if you want to put a belly pod or any accessory that would go on a 4-inch wide body Super Cub, this will fit here.
Yeah, the base dimensions when you get down at the bottom are the same as a wide
Exactly
body.
the same. Yeah. In fact, this is almost a wide body Super Cub that we just pulled the longerons out a little bit.
That's exactly right.
As far as weight, I understand it's a fairly light plane. You know, it was weighing in at 1267, and then we just had it in for annual, and we did a bunch of upgrades on it. We've got, you know, carbon fiber prop, we've got titanium landing gear, titanium tail spring. So it's very light. In the lightweight battery, we had an EarthX 900 amp battery.
It has our new brakes in it now too.
New brake master cylinders. So it's kind of, we went through it this year and updated it with everything that we currently sell. Try to take all the weight off of it we can. So we're sitting just under 1,250 pounds, which, you know, for a fully featured Cub, and when you see the interior of this thing, it's
work Cub,
beautiful. That's an incredible weight. And kind of speaking to what you're saying about it flying true, this was one of the planes. This was, because it was the first one, we didn't have a jig for it. We built this outside of a jig on a flat table. Paul Gray did all the critical dimensions. So this was really built by hand, and it is as true to the drawings as you can possibly get.
Yeah, it is. No, I mean, it's a great Cub. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's a lot of fun to fly.
Yeah. Are you going to miss it a little bit?
It's a beast. Oh yeah, I've missed every plane I've sold, but I think our job here at gear companies is to keep moving forward. And I think, you know, we've got to a point now where, oh, by the way, we all like to call this paint job gravel bar.
Yeah,
gravel bar
camo. Gravel camo, yeah.
Gravel camo. I'm sorry if but it's a great Cub, and I just think we're at the point now where we want to do some new stuff, and again, these things are meant to be flown.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, and this color scheme is great. You know, when you look around, we've got kind of the grays and blues of the background, and gravel bar. This is such a beautiful plane when you see it out in the wild. The light just hits that black just right. And it's not really a high gloss black, it's kind of a medium black, so it doesn't show fingerprints or stuff really badly.
There's a lot of pictures on our website of this, and our Instagram of this plane flying.
Yeah.
It looks pretty fun.
No, it really is kind of it's a showstopper for sure.
So I know you're going to drag everybody through the details of the plane. Anything else I can handle from you?
No, just kind of, you know, what are we looking to get out of the plane money-wise, and kind of how do you see the process for somebody that's interested?
Sure, our list price is going to be $325,000 for it. You're going to call Gabe, who picks up if you call our company and you hit Aviation. You're going to get Gabe.
So yeah, if you want to talk about the plane or have any questions, my direct line is 907-331-3837. We'll probably have my email somewhere in this video. So absolutely feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to kind of arrange a viewing of this plane.
Yeah, and then I guess the only things I'd say, so Kirk Ellis done a lot of work on it. So you guys probably know who Kirk Ellis is. That old shop's been helping us with it, pulling things on and off as we're doing testing. Paul Mallory was the other IA that's worked on it in different times. I think those are a pretty good list of the things who people have worked on it.
Yeah, Paul Gray was
the original designer.
So it's really been a really all-star team building this plane and doing the maintenance throughout its life cycle. It's only got 300 hours on it. It's an incredibly low-time plane. Really great condition, obviously. You know, the place that makes all the parts has been doing the work on it. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic quality plane, and for the right person that wants to get into it, it's going to be an incredible plane for a lifetime.
Yeah, Gabe, tell people about it, and you can talk to Gabe if you're interested in. He can answer all your questions, and I'm hoping we find a great buyer who's going to do really neat things with this plane. So I look forward to seeing it in the future. It's always fun when we sell a plane. You kind of watch its life kind of build after it leaves the factory. But
yeah,
Gabe, go for it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. All right, talk to you.
All right, so let's just work with this plane from front to back here. So what I want to start with is the propeller. We just put this on. This is a brand new Sensenit ground adjustable propeller, 82-inch. We've currently got it set at the 42 pitch setting. So this is a fantastic climb prop. We just dropped like 20 pounds off the plane just with this one mod going from the old prop to the new one. Can't recommend these enough. Behind the prop, we've got a 0360. So like we mentioned earlier, this only has 300 hours on it, so this 0360 is basically just broken in. It's a full 180 horsepower. This one's been kind of flow matched, and it's got all the hop-ups on it, so it's probably doing a little bit more than 180 horsepower, but that's what it's rated for. Stock exhaust, we do have the Atlee hot rod muffler on here. One of the big bonuses we have is a preheat system. We've got a full tankless preheat system on here, so it's got the oil sump pad. It's got all the heating elements for the cylinders, so this is totally Alaska ready and ready to go. Moving back from there, we're just going to kind of go around the outside of the plane and show you all of the features that we've put on this plane and all of the products that we have on here. The big one that you can see right up front here is that titanium landing gear. This is one of our like set number 1 that we ever did for the titanium, and this one's a little bit special because we did have to do a custom cabane V for it. We don't do a wide body cabane V out of titanium, so this one was a one-off just for this plane. Similarly, the landing gear shock absorbers here, the TiSHX. These aren't the first set we did, but these are very, very special in that we only did 2 sets of the titanium shock rods for the extended width fuselages. So we did this set. So this has the one set that we did for a wide body Cub, and then we have another set that we prototyped to like look at doing a PA-12. That's a project that we're going to talk about in probably future videos, but for right now, these are one-of-one shocks, one-of-one landing gear. Moving outboard, we've got the 35-inch Bushwheels. Of course, these are our signature flagship tire. On there, we've got prototype lightweight 10 by 6.5 inch rims. These are the super light ones that we came out with. Drops like 20 pounds off of the wheel and tire setup. They're basically like the same weight as a 6-inch rim. So everything we've done to take weight out of this plane, we're doing here. And it's all, like I said, prototype stuff. We did a lot of testing on these, and this is the test bed plane for them. Aluminum struts, these have been out a while. Everybody knows about these, saving 16 pounds on just the lift struts alone. Going around the side, our gun boot kit. This was the first aluminum strut gun boot kit that we did, prototyped it on this plane, installed by our engineers. So kind of a cool little one of one there. PSTOL flaps, again, another product we've had out for a while. These are special in that the four-place or the three-place Super Cub has a taper in the fuselage here. So instead of just being built straight on the end, we have to kind of trim these so that they fit with the glass there. So these we did in-house, did a custom jig and everything, had that set up in the machine shop and trimmed to fit this exact fuselage perfectly. Gull wing doors. This is kind of a standard for the three-place fuselages as we were doing them. Full plexiglass door. It's got an outside latch, which is very unique for a Super Cub. Going around the back, it's all fairly standard fare. Standard Super Cub tail, you know, round tail feathers. This plane is, we really tried to make it perform like a standard Super Cub. All the goods that come with that, you know, very light on the controls, quick to turn in, standard length wings with standard Super Cub ailerons, so it has really good roll response. Around the back, this is kind of the big story at the tail of the plane. We've got the baby bush wheel, which of course everybody knows about, the big Tundra tire on there. This one's a two-hole configuration, so it's got two bolts attaching the tail wheel, so it's quite a bit stiffer, less prone to tail wheel shimmy and things like that. Titanium tail spring. This is one of our prototype titanium tail springs. It's experimental, but this was the one that we did a lot of testing on. Fantastic tail spring, saves about 4 pounds in the tail. Has a little bit more rigidity. It keeps its arch so it doesn't flatten out on you. And the last thing that we installed back here is the tail wheel shimmy dampener. This is one of Doug Keller's designs, the hydraulic tail wheel shimmy dampener. So if you're on pavement with that baby bush wheel, you're not gonna have issues with it shimmying and damaging the tail wheel. It's all hooked up on there by our in-house mechanics, so everything's rigged really nicely. We've got the steering springs rigged. This thing has great control response on the ground taxiing. One of the big things that we'll probably get a little bit more into when we get to the cockpit is the lighting system. This plane is very cool and very unique that it has LED lights all the way around. We don't have a strobe on the top. You know, you'll see a lot of planes that have the big strobe on top of the rudder, and that was kind of one of those things. The rudder AD came out, and that weight can cause issues. So on this one, we went with the Whelen integrated nav and strobe system. So this nav light here not only acts as a nav light, it also has a strobe built into it. Both of the wingtip lights also have strobes built into them as well as nav lights. So let's walk around to there and we'll kind of show you the wings of this plane as we go around. So again, talking about the wings here, there's just a couple of features on this wing. Like I said, it's a very standard Super Cub wing, 18-gallon fuel tanks. You don't want a lot of fuel in the wing because all of that is more weight that you got to roll when you put the ailerons in. So we want to make this really nice and light on the controls and very responsive. So it's got standard length wings, round tips, standard ailerons. Of course, it's got the PSTOL flaps, which we found that a standard length PSTOL flap for a Super Cub really does 99% of the work of longer flaps without all the added drag. So this performs extremely good for a standard length wing. We do have tie downs on here. We've got the standard Piper tie down up here that we make. We also have Atlee Dodge Hurricane tie downs here. So that's that strap that goes around the spar. So that's not one that's gonna, in a windstorm, peel out of the wing and cause damage. Up front here, if you want to come around the front, we've got the landing and nav lights here, or landing and taxi lights. So again, Whelen LEDs. We got the Par 36 landing and taxi in there. Around the wingtip, another Whelen LED here. This is the integrated nav and strobe. So we've got that on both wingtips. Back around to the front here before we go inside, we've got the Steve's gasculator. So much stronger design, much better design than the original Piper one, shown to be extremely robust in accidents, so you're not breaking your fuel strainer and having a fuel spill there. So kind of the best of the best. We kind of went around the whole industry when we're building this plane and put in basically everything that's state of the art, the very best we can. So starting with the inside of the plane, the big thing that everybody wants to look at when they're hauling moose meat and stuff is the baggage area. Kind of skipped over it earlier, but this has a huge baggage door. This is one of one. This is the only 3 places that we've done with this baggage door because it is kind of a wide wall here to get everything situated, but custom baggage door. It's very, very light, 20 thousandths aluminum. It's got all the weather stripping and reinforcement, so it's a very light but stiff door. You can see the baggage floor comes level with the door here, which is super nice for loading and unloading. Kind of just pull things in and out, and you don't have a lip there to lift things over. On that point, both of the rear seats are removable, so you can take both of these out. It's just like a standard Super Cub. You've got your removable crossbar, you can pull the seats out, and this is one flat deck for about 8 foot going all the way back. So fantastic baggage area. One thing you can see here with the passengers is we've got shoulder harnesses for both passengers. Being that it's a 3-place, you obviously want to have that. There's also seatbelt tabs in the back, so if you do want to kind of make it an ad hoc 4-place, there is seatbelt tabs to seat somebody like you would in a standard Cub. Moving forward from there, we've also got a shoulder harness for the pilot. Pretty standard seatbelt arrangement. This does have the Atlee Dodge floor seat belts, so your pilot seat belt is attached to the frame instead of just to the seat. Forward of that, this has a really neat new product that we came out with. It's these master cylinders. They're a vented master cylinder. We played with the piston size to give more pressure for the same amount of travel and pressure on the pedals. So we just updated it with that. That's a pretty major upgrade in this plane, along with the parking brake valves. So it's got also our new hydraulic parking brake valves. Under the seat, we did something kind of neat there. We used to have the kind of the Odyssey lead acid battery. We just replaced that with a lithium battery from EarthX. So that's got a 900 cold cranking amp EarthX in here. Starts the plane with great authority even when it's super cold outside. Going a little bit forward from the battery, let's kind of go around the left wall here. This does have a headerless fuel system. It's a Cub Crafter's headerless, so we've got left, right, both fuel system in it. So, you know, no more switching back and forth trying to balance the tanks. You just run it on both all the time. No header tanks. That's one way we saved weight out of it. It's got no header tanks. Pretty standard crossover. Crossover tube really nicely put back up here where you can't see it. A lot of planes have it hanging down in the way, so you know, another kind of testament to how nicely built this plane is. It's a pretty standard panel. You know, we didn't try to go way out of our way to do a big glass panel or get too crazy with it. This is just a very Alaska Cub. We've got a Garmin GPS in it, Garmin transponder, Garmin radio, really nice units, GTX 327 and a GTR 200. Aside from that, you've got your regular altitude, RPM, airspeed gauges. Like I said, we do have an EI engine monitor. It's a single channel, so we've got oil pressure temp, we've got CHT, EGT, and then of course we have a battery monitor. So we've got volts and amps on that. Kind of standard electronics. Like I said, it's fairly stripped down, so you've got all your switches and everything for lights. We got pop-out breakers for comm, GPS, and all that. One big thing, because this is an Alaska Cub, you have to have all the heaters. So this has cabin heat, it's got rear seat heat, and we've got a windshield defroster. Paul Gray, who did the sheet metal, meticulous craftsman. There's actually a duct built into the wall, so it's not just a piece of scat hose laying across the floor. There's a piece of ducting built into the wall that goes back to redirect the heat to the back seat. So that's super neat on the right side of the cabin. Other than that, we've got a couple of tie-down points here if you want to do a cargo net. Pretty standard fuel gauges, you know, it's your regular float gauges that you'd have in a Super Cub. We do have one of the magnetically corrected compasses from England, the AirPath ones. When you look at this thing in person, it pops out to you the amount of work that went into it to get all the gaps sealed up really nicely. Everything's bead rolled, and it's also sound deadened too. It doesn't have much sound deadening in it, but this is definitely one of the quieter planes that I've flown in. And for a 1,250 pound working Cub to have this quiet interior is really something. So you're not going to, you know, have all that noise in your ears if you don't have A&R headsets of the interior vibrating around. Overall, just a really fantastic build. You know, I hope going around this plane and showing you some of the features and the workmanship that went into it really impresses on you the amount of labor and time that went into this plane over the years and how we've constantly updated it and kept it fresh. So If you think you might be the right buyer for this plane, we encourage you to reach out to us. We're certainly open to showing you the plane and doing test flights and stuff. But like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to me. My phone number is in the first segment of this video, and we'll of course be probably linking my email in the description. And I look forward to talking with you. Thanks for watching.